For those that are unfamiliar with InDesign, like most programs, the interface can initially appear confusing as there is a lot going on. The first version of InDesign was released back in 1999, and with all the innovations and new features that have been introduced over the years, up until now, the interface itself has not changed all that much. For those of you who are completely new to InDesign, the interface may look a little daunting and confusing, but don't worry, in this video, I'm going to show you around and introduce you to some of the things you need to be aware of. Now, I'll be showing InDesign on Mac, so if you're using an earlier version or working on a PC, some things may be a little different in parts, but in principle, it should be the same. So let's jump into InDesign. So if you have InDesign open and wish to follow along, you will need to first come up to Window, scroll down to Workspace, then scroll down to Select Essentials. Then to make sure we all have the same setup, we must again go to Window Workspace and then scroll down and select Reset Essentials. This will then set the interface to the Essentials default layout, and you should have something that looks like this. Now, don't worry if your setup is not exactly the same as mine. What you should have is the default settings. Just follow along and you should be fine. What you'll come to learn later on is that you can customize this layout, but what would help right now is for you to have the same or similar layout so you can follow along with me. What I have done here is stripped back the program to the bare minimum so we can build up to get to know everything. One other thing you need to make sure you have active is the application frame. The application frame is the grey space you see here in the background. If we come again to Window and scroll down to the bottom, we have the application frame here. If I click this to turn it off, we can see the desktop. Now we can work like this, but I find it much easier to work with the application frame on. So for the duration of this course, we will need the application frame on. So I'll come back to the window, scroll down and click to activate it there. Another thing that is really useful to have open in InDesign is the control panel. If I come up to Window and click on Control, we will see the control panel across the top. This is a really useful panel that will show a lot of properties for tools as we use them. Perfect. So with our interface set up, we can make a start. To begin, I'm going to open a document. This document is going to help me demonstrate to you the various functionality of the program, which we are going to be covering a little later on in this video. So be sure to open this to follow along. This document can be found in the downloadable folder that comes with this course. This download folder comes with multiple projects and a ton of assets and resources we will be using in this course. You can find the link to acquire the folder from the description. With the download folder open, click into folder 3, document samples, click into folder 2, double-sided, click into the pamphlet multifold folder and click to open the Kingdom Zoo Visitor Map InDesign document, and the document will open. Now for this document, I'm using the font HK Grotesque. If you have not already downloaded all the fonts for the course, this is a free font that you can acquire online. To get this font, I would recommend you check out the course fonts page on the course PDF document. This is a list of all the fonts that are going to be used on this course and where to get them. Simply click on the HK Grotesque link and this will take you straight to where you can download it. Simply close this document, install the font, open it back up, and you should be able to follow along just fine. For now, I'm going to press W on the keyboard and this will toggle between normal and preview mode. For now, I want to be in preview mode and I'll press W so I can clearly see the document. So in InDesign, we have the option to toggle the interface color. If you wish to toggle this, on Mac you can come to InDesign on the top toolbar, or Edit on PC, scroll down to Preferences and select Interface. In here, you can toggle between light and darker modes at the top of this menu. I like it dark, so I'm going to select the darkest option. Now, while we're in the Preferences menu, if we click on User Interface Scaling below, you can also change the UI sizing and anchor point scale. This can help with how you would like to view your InDesign interface to make it more comfortable to use. For now, I'm going to leave it as is and click OK. So let's take a closer look at the interface. Now, all of this may look a little complex right now, but don't worry, it's all fairly straightforward. At this point, it will help to break the interface down into 7 key sections: the canvas area, the tools panel, the control panel, the application bar, work panels, the status bar, and the menu bar. First of all, when you have a document open in InDesign, you have what is called the canvas area or document area. This is what will contain all the visual elements we place inside and what we will focus on when creating layouts. This will always be central in the interface, and all the tools and properties will revolve around it. On the far left, we have this slim panel. This is the tools panel and contains all the tools that can be used in InDesign. As you can see, we have lots of icons. To activate a tool, we simply click it or press one of the many shortcut buttons on the keyboard. We know which tool is active because it will have a highlighted square behind it on the tools panel. In InDesign, we will be using many tools, and most tools have their own unique mouse cursor icons. You will notice that as we use the tool, the mouse cursor will change, indicating which tool we have activated. If we look carefully, we can see that almost all the icons have a little white arrow in the bottom right corner. If we click and hold an icon with a white arrow, this will reveal more tools in that set. For example, if I click and hold on the pen tool, we can see an extra 4 tools within that set. If I click and hold on the shape tool, we can see a variety of shapes that can be created very easily. So keep in mind that some tools work in sets. If we take a closer look at the bottom of this panel, we can see 2 overlapping squares. If you're new to InDesign, you may not be familiar with this. What this represents is a fill color and a stroke color. The top square is the fill and the bottom square is the stroke color. Right now we can see that the fill color on the top is black and the stroke color is transparent, which is represented by the red line that goes through it. If you look closely, just above the fill and stroke color in the tools panel, we have this little button called Swap Fill and Stroke. And if we press this, it's going to swap the fill and stroke color like so. So very easily, we can swap the fill color and stroke color. Now to the left of the swap fill and stroke, we have another little button, and this is the default fill and stroke. If I press this, it's going to set the fill to transparent and the stroke to black. Under the fill and stroke colors, we have some further options. Directly under the fill and stroke colors, we have 2 formatting buttons, one for container and one for text. Every object placed onto the canvas area is placed into a container, also referred to as a frame, and some will contain text. These 2 buttons serve to help easily select either the frame or the type on a selected object, in order to apply the fill and stroke colors above. Under these 2 buttons, we have a button where you can click and hold and quickly apply a fill color, a gradient, or set the transparency to a selected frame. And lastly, 2 buttons which enable you to quickly turn on and off some interface properties. If we click on the top box, from here you can toggle on and off a series of options, from frame edges, rulers, baseline grid to hidden characters. Now lastly, we have a really important feature, which is the display view. Right now we are looking at the document in preview mode. This enables us to see the document very clearly and preview our layout. However, if we click and hold the view option, from here you can select a few. If we click normal, this will change the view dramatically. In the normal view, we can see what is called the pasteboard area around the canvas area, and all the visual aids like bounding boxes and guides. As you come to use InDesign, you will see how we will be working mainly in normal mode when creating our layouts. By clicking and holding on the view option, we can either go back to preview mode or even select presentation mode. This will take away all the interface aids and show the entire document in full screen in presentation mode, which is great if you want to present your documents. And I'll press escape to exit out of that. So as you can see here, the tools menu is currently 1 column. If we look closely up in the top of the tools panel, we can see these little arrows pointing left. If I come and click this once, we can change the panel to a double column. And if we press it again, we can go back to the single column. For the duration of this course, I'm going to click and set my tools panel to a single row. So just above the toolbar, we have the control panel. The control panel spans the entire width of the screen just under the application bar at the top. This control panel is really useful as this will display various properties and options of a particular tool you have selected at any given time. You will soon realize that this is one of the key panels in the program, and as you use InDesign, you'll be referring to this panel a lot. Keep in mind, as you use your tools, keep an eye on the control panel as it's really useful. Some other things to keep in mind with the control panel are the settings. Over on the far right of the control panel, you will see a cog. Click this and you'll be able to toggle a range of objects which you want to appear in the control panel. And if you click the menu below this, you will be able to customize further, like where the control panel is placed. Here you can place it at the bottom of the screen, the top, or even float. Personally, I like to keep it set to the top. Now, just above the control panel, we have the application bar. If we look on the far left, we have a little home icon. This can be clicked at any time, and if we click this, this will take us to the InDesign home screen. From here, you can access recent documents you opened, or click the Learn tab to find out more about InDesign. I find this really helpful to access documents I have recently worked on, and from here you can also create a new document. If we simply click the back button, we can go back to our work area. Over on the far right, we will see some icons. If we click the light bulb, this will open up the Learn tab, and to the right of this is the Share feature. Now in InDesign, if you want to share your document with the client for feedback, you can simply click this button, and InDesign will generate an online link which you can send to a client. From here, they can see your layout online and give feedback to your design, which will feed back into your document here in InDesign. This is a really cool feature, which we will be discussing more in depth later in the course. Now to the right of this, we have a drop-down. From here, we can change our current workspace, which I will be discussing more shortly. And lastly, we have a search field for Adobe stock. Type in here and press enter, and this will take you to your browser and show you results for Adobe stock. So some nice features up here you will want to keep in mind. So over to the right hand side, we have some panels. Here we can currently see 3 panel tabs: properties, pages, and CC libraries. And if we click on these, we can reveal them. What you will soon discover is that these panels, like the control panels, are essential in order to produce work in Adobe InDesign. In order to have a swift workflow in this program, it will help to have a comfortable setup of these panels. What you will see right now is a default setup. In InDesign, you can arrange and customize these panels in various ways. I'll be demonstrating how to do this in the next episode and recommending an effective setup. Now, if we come to the very bottom of the screen, we have this thin strip. This also contains some useful tools and visual aids and is referred to as the status bar. If we look over on the far left, we have the magnification of our document. This will give you an indication at a glance of what percentage we are looking at the artwork in the canvas area. We can also use this to zoom in and out of our document precisely. We can do this by clicking in the box and typing in a specific value. For example, I can type in 50 and press enter, and we will see my artwork at 50%. To the right of this, we have an index, which allows us to skip through pages. If you have multiple pages in your documents, here you can click through them one by one, or click the drop down to select a page and you can jump straight to it. To the right of this, there is a button which you can click to reveal your document in Finder or Bridge. And to the right of this, you have what is called a pre-flight tab. Now this is actually really important and it helps to keep an eye on this. This will give you indications if there are any issues in your document, such as missing links, fonts, or overset type. For example, right now we can see there is a little red light here with a number. If I click this, the pre-flight tab will pop open, and here it will tell me what the issues are, which I can look to resolve. A really helpful tool. So finally, over to the far right, we have a split layout view button. If we click this, we will split the view into 2, which allows you to look at one page on the left and scroll through the rest of the document on the right to view multiple pages, which can come in really handy. And if I click this again, we can go back. Lastly, if we move to the top of the window, we can see the standard menu across the top. From here, we can access various properties, controls, and initiate some of the creative features in InDesign. Here we can do things like manage document setup in File, manage software settings, edit our margin or layout, change and manage type settings, insert tables, manage our view options, manage plugins, and hide and reveal various panels. So those are the main parts of the interface you want to be aware of. Next, I want to touch on document tabs, which are part of the canvas area. Currently, we have this single document open, and if we look carefully in the top left corner, just under the control panel, we have a tab that shows the document name. Sometimes you may find yourself using multiple documents at any time. In InDesign, you can have multiple documents open at once. For example, let's quickly open a new document. With the download folder open, click into folder 3, document samples, click into folder 2, double spread, click into the business card folder and open the Chefistry business card InDesign document, and you should have something like this. Let's open one more. With the document folder open, into folder 3, document samples, into folder 1, single-sided, click into the billboard folder and click to open the Design Expo Billboard InDesign document, and you should have something like this. Now, if we look again closely at the top left, under the control panel, this time we have 3 tabs. We can click these to navigate to other documents. If I click the far left tab, we are back to our first document. If I click the next tab along to the right, we can see the new document, and if I click the next tab along, we can see the other document. As we use multiple documents, we can simply click on the tabs to navigate around. When we start to use multiple documents later on in the course, we will be using document tabs in this way. For now, I'm going to close these 2 new documents down by clicking on the X on the far left of the tabs until I am back to my original document. So those are some of the interface features that exist around our canvas area. If we want to toggle away these outer panels to just look at our artwork without anything selected, we can simply press Tab. And if we press Command+0 on Mac or Control+0 on PC, we can fit the height of the document to the work area. And in this case, since we have a spread of pages, if we press Command+Alt+0 on Mac or Control+Alt+0 on PC, we will fill the spread to the work area. And if we press W on the keyboard to toggle preview and normal mode, we can get a good look at the document here. Also, we can press Shift W on the keyboard to go into presentation view. If we press Escape, we can exit, and I'll press Tab to bring back the panels, and W to toggle back into normal mode. And now we can take a closer look at the document itself. So, as mentioned earlier, when working in InDesign, you can work in 2 view types, normal mode or preview mode. So in normal mode, we can see here on the document there is a lot going on. We have a column grid in the background, and we can see the frames around the items set on the page. For now, I'll come up to view, scroll down to guides and grids, and hide the baseline grid so we can see things a little more clearly. Now with the selection tool, if we start to click on various items, you will see as you select them, you will get bounding boxes around each frame. What you will notice is there is 8 anchor points you will be able to click on for any bounding box, allowing you to click and drag to perform various actions. If we move our mouse cursor over these, it will prompt you to take action. Now, with any item selected in a document, we can right click. And this is really important because there is a lot of things we can do here, such as add an effect to an object, rearrange the object, and lock the object, to name a few. I won't go into this too much right now, but keep in mind that right-clicking an object reveals lots of options. If we press Command+R on Mac or Control+R on PC, you can activate the rulers, and you will see rulers around the far left and above the document area. This will allow you to drag out guides or pop them back in to remove. For now, I'll keep my rulers visible. Now we can also toggle the visibility of the guides and grids by pressing Command+: on Mac or Control+: on PC. And if you press Command+ apostrophe on Mac or Control+ apostrophe on PC, you can toggle on and off the document grid. So I'll bring back my column grid and baseline grid. Now the last thing to talk about is the contextual menu. If I come up to Window and make sure there is a tick next to contextual menu, when we click on an object, you will notice this little menu appear. Now this will only appear with a frame selected. And in here, we have some features like being able to generate an image directly into a frame, and other features like importing and relinking images in the document and content-aware fill. Now, as this menu appears, you will also have the ability to move it around. If it gets in your way, simply click on the far left, drag up to the top left, click on the dots and pin it in place. So that's a brief overview of the Adobe InDesign interface. A lot to take in, right? But don't worry, as we progress on this course, we will be looking at a range of documents and seeing how this all works together seamlessly. Now, another really important part of InDesign to keep in mind is preferences. If we come up to InDesign, click this and select Preferences, we can see there is a long list of options we can consider. At this early stage, it will be good to take a look at this and the things we need to keep in mind. In the next video, we're going to look at some of the important options in our preferences we will need to be aware of when working in InDesign. See you in the next video.